Good morning, everybody. Now, I've shared before how there are still a few very strict conservative old order Amish that put their beliefs and their traditions from their forefathers before the laws of the land. For Ohio, the law passed in August of 2022 that they must have the blinking light on the back of the buggy. Now, I shared in videos before how Ashland County, Ohio, very similar to my old order and Swartz and Trooper Amish, where they are refusing to pay the fines when the sheriff pulled them over. And then in court, they said, we would rather not pay the fine because of religious beliefs, and we were willing to go to jail even death, before we surrender our beliefs. That's how firm these old order conservative groups are. They are very firm in their beliefs, and they will hang on to those beliefs from their forefathers unto death. So a letter came in from that community in Ashland County, Ohio. And the Amish man wrote this: "Hello, I am writing in response to the traffic violation ticket that I got because of not having a yellow blinking light on the back of my buggy. At this time, our church group of the Old Order Amish do not wish to use the yellow blinking light. We are using a white block on the back of our horse-drawn buggy with white reflective tape, which helps some to be seen better." I was over in the Worcester area just about a week ago, and I saw a couple of those, and I had no idea why. I saw the square black white thing on the back of the buggy, and I thought maybe it's a plate to hold the lantern. Well, now I know why. In this letter, he says they added that square white thing and put white reflective tape, which helps some, he says, to be seen better. The reason we do not want the yellow blinking light on our buggy is because of our religion. Their religion comes first before the law. 60 years ago, he says, our forefathers, remember how they always keep the forefathers as traditions? Our forefathers felt that a blinking light is too worldly. And we still feel that way today. My community also feels that way. They did not comply either, and they added a PVC pipe to the wheels with gray reflective tape. Ashland County Amish added a white square with white reflective tape rather than follow the law. They feel like if they give in to the government and its laws, they believe God would not be pleased because they're dishonoring their forefathers. It's very important to them that you follow those traditions of the forefathers even before following the Word of God, the Bible. So then he tries to justify it in the letter by saying, as we read in 2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 14, "But continue in the things which thou hast learned and has been assured of knowing of, thou hast learned them." So that's one verse they use to say, hey, the things that we have learned from our forefathers, the verse says, but continue in those things which thou hast learned. So they believe that applies to them, to continue in those things that their forefathers have taught them, rather than continuing in the truth, what the Bible actually says. And then he goes on and shares Acts chapter 5, verse 14, where Peter said, we ought to obey God rather than man. And so he quotes the very verse that exposes them. Obeying God rather than man. They are following man, their forefathers. They're not following God, but they believe and view through their eyeballs as God's church. So they believe that is God's way. So they can't see it. They can't undo. Until you know the truth in the Bible and actually have Bible studies, rather than enforcing the articles of faith and the rules and the ordinance, you're not going to be set free. You're not going to see it spiritually. You're going to focus on the physical things. The physical things you're going to shun because you can't see the spiritual things from above. And then he closed the letter by saying, at this time I do not feel to pay my fine because of my faith. And they simply did not pay the fines over there. They didn't care. The judge finally realized over there, he's like, wow, this group is standing so firm, they are willing to go to jail and not pay their fines for their beliefs. So he just let them off the hook. That's the way my community did too. They added the PVC pipe and they said, okay, We'll just let you be. Because they already know, they remember what happened in 1974 when the Hardin County Amish, where I'm from, my grandfather and many other people, the bishops, the elders, were all locked up in jail because they didn't pay their fines. And then the judge realized they're willing to do life in prison and even die before they surrender their beliefs. You can kind of admire that faith, but I just wish that faith was applied to the truth, to the Word of God. If they were that zealous and that firm on the truth in the Bible, you'd have revival everywhere. Now, wouldn't we? But yet, if you do these things according to the tradition of man and organized man-made religion, you will certainly die in vain.